Hello students of the 9th grade, here we meet again with some workbook exercises and a cross-curricular topic. Okay, we have got here a pre-reading activity. We have got this lady here. She is Helen Keller actually. Now, what do you know for this woman? What do you know about Helen Keller? What would you like to know about her? Can you think of 3 questions that you would like to know about Helen? So, some of these questions might be, where was she from? What did she accomplish? And why is she famous? So, let's have a close look now at the text to find out more about Helen Keller and why was she famous. She was called a woman of courage, and now we are going to find out together why was she called a woman of courage. Helen Adams Keller was born on 27th June 1880 in Alabama, USA. Unfortunately, Helen contracted an illness when she was only 19 months, and that left her deaf and blind. Her mother found it difficult to cope with Helen, so they decided to hire a teacher. On 3rd March 1887, Anna Sullivan, a former blind woman who had regained her sight, arrived at the Kellers' home. With Anne's help, Helen learned how to read and write using Braille. She went on to study, and on 28 June 1904, she became the first deaf-blind person who ever to have earned a Bachelor of Arts degree. Over the following years, Helen toured the world, giving talks about her life, experiences, and her support of female suffrage, pacifism, and workers' rights. In 1915, she founded Helen Keller International, an organization to support research into vision and health and nutrition. And in 1920, she helped create the American Civil Liberties Union, whose aim to defend civil liberties. In later years, Helen devoted herself to raising funds for the American Foundations for the Blind. In 1961, Helen suffered a stroke and had to withdraw from public life, and she was far from forgotten. On 14 September 1964, President Lyndon Johnson awarded her one of the highest civilian honors, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, and in 1965 she was elected to the National Women's Hall of Fame. Helen died in her sleep from natural causes on 1st June in 1968. She left her mark on society and proved that, as she once said, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. Now, as you could see here, we have a short information about Helen and why she was famous. So what did we have in the first paragraph? It is where she was born and when she was born. Then here it is said, it is expressed that Helen, because of her illness, because she became sick, she lost her sight and she couldn't hear, so she became deaf and blind. Her mother found it difficult to cope with Helen. Her mother had difficulties. It wasn't easy for her mother to face with Helen, to cope with Helen, meaning to make her life easier. Then, so they decided to hire a teacher, to have a teacher to help Helen. Then in this paragraph, it is what Helen studied and who helped her. It is Anna Sullivan, who was an ex-blind woman, a woman who couldn't see as well, but she regained her sight. She could see again, so she came at Helen's home, and with her help, Helen could learn right, using Braille. Braille is the alphabet used by the blind people, the deaf and blind people. So she became the first to have a degree in the art, in the Bachelor of Arts. Then we have her experiences and what Helen has done for our society. So she toured, she traveled the world, giving talks, so giving speeches about her life experiences and her support, how she was providing help to female suffrage, pacifism and workers' rights. Then in 1915, she founded Helen Keller International. It is to create a foundation to support research into vision and health nutrition. So in this paragraph, we have what she did and why she died. So as we can see here, she died while she was sleeping, so she didn't suffer. And it is here given a very famous quotation of her, alone we can do so little, but together we can do so much. So if you are alone, you can do so little, but if you are a group of people doing some things, these some things become greater things one day, helping our society. Now let's have some explanation of the new vocabulary. We have cope with, which means to deal with difficult situations. We have got an example. All the students managed to cope with the tough questions and pass the class test. Regain sight, to be able to see again. After being blind, the blind woman regained her sight after her eye surgery. Then we have withdraw, which is to not take part any longer, doorhichet. The famous actor withdrew from public life and never gave another interview. We have pacifism, it's a belief of non-violence. People who support pacifism are against violence and war. Then we have on the other side, workers' rights are laws that protect workers. And we have an example here. There are many workers' rights, and one of them offers maternity leave for working women. The next word is suffrage. It's the right to vote. Drejta për të votuar. Women's suffrage was achieved in the US in the 1920s when women were finally allowed to vote. Now we have got here some sentences. These sentences are related to the text. They have to do with the text. So let's read the sentences together and decide if they are true or false. So the first one. Helen was born deaf and blind. So how, do you remember from the text? Was she born deaf and blind, or she suffered from a disease and she became deaf and blind? So it is false, because actually she suffered from a disease, from an illness, and she became deaf and blind. Helen's teacher had also been blind. So do you remember who was Helen's teacher? It was Anna Sullivan. And if you remember from the text, it is expressed there that she regained her sight. So she was able to see again after being blind. So Helen's teacher had also been blind is true. Before Helen, no deaf-blind person had graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree. So as was said in the text, she was the first woman to have a degree, right? So this is true as well. Helen did a lot of public speaking, so she toured around the world giving talks about what was very important to regain, how to support the blind and deaf people. So this is true as well. Helen died from a stroke. Well, actually she suffered a stroke, but she did not die from stroke, right? She died while she was asleep. So this is false. Now, these words are the synonym of some words that appear in the text. Let's have a look at them together and try to find which words in the text best fits the meaning or is the synonym of the meaning of the verbs or words that we have in exercise number 3. So find words in the text which mean. And we have caught. What is another meaning for caught? Be careful, it is in the past, so it is contracted. Then we have help. What is another word in the text that has the meaning of help? And it is, of course, support. Then we have intention. What is another meaning for intention? It is purpose or aim. Then we have to employ. So what did Helen's mother do in order to support her child, her daughter? She hired a teacher, so she employed a teacher. Previously, which means happening before, that is once. Then we have established, and the synonym is founded or created. Now, as we said, Helen was a woman of courage, but why do we say that Helen was a woman of courage? Well, it is said that she was a woman of courage because she fought for women's suffrage, for women's right of vote, and for civil liberties. She wanted all the civils to be free. Why else was she a woman of courage? Well, she fought for things that she believed in. As well, she accomplished great things by founding organizations in support that supported or that provided help to people that were blind and deaf. And another reason is that she overcame all the difficulties, and she achieved to do what she believed in herself. Now, it is a homework for you. I'd like you to write something. I encourage you to write something, to write an information or to find some information about someone else who overcame difficult challenges and did great things. So write down a few sentences and tell the class about it. Thank you for your attention. It was my pleasure to give you some interesting information about Helen Keller today. See you in the next session. Bye.